Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to Your Story's Not Over, You're Still Writing It. This is your host, Erin. So, guys, today we're going to talk about petty and what petty means. On today's episode, though, it's not just going to be me. I have one of my dearest friends, Miss Jamie Moreland. Hey, Jamie, how are you? Good. Thank you for joining me. I thought it would be easier to do an episode on something such as petty with another person because petty is not something that is easy for one person to describe. A matter of fact, what do you think of the word petty? Like, what does that mean when someone says they're being petty? What do you account that as?
Often it's childish, it's unnecessary comment directed at another person, something that could have been handled differently. It's just petty.
So, would you say that petty would fall in the same category as anger? Understanding that mad is normal emotion and anger is an extreme. When you're mad, you can communicate still. You can sit down, you can think, you can thought process works. When you are angry, anger is the extreme. And because you're not able to STR the situation and truly think things through, you end up overreacting, which puts it on an extreme level. Would petty fall somewhere in between mad and extreme or more on the extreme? Where do you think with that?
Fall in the extreme anger, it could, but to me, a lot of times petty is vindictive.
Okay. So that's on a whole different level. It's not a mad, it's past anger where you're no longer upset. The scenario no longer even really was handled or existed. And now we are just being vindictive. Okay. And childish. Good. So, what are some things that people do that you would consider petty?
For example, blowing smoke in somebody's face that you know doesn't.
Okay. And not when you're not being joking, just the irritating part. I liked you said that because people do joke differently with different people. So you're saying like doing something to irritate someone on purpose. Okay, I'm liking that. What else do you have? A couple of other ones.
Things like calling and hanging up, trying to check up on something or someone. Come on, must be gross.
Yeah.
You want to know if they're there? Call and ask them.
So is not having proper communication, can that sometimes fall in the petty in the sense of not just non-people communication, but without proper communication, things don't get solved, things don't get handled, feelings stay, and people poke. And when you're poking, do you think poking is the same thing as petty?
No,
Okay.
I think it is. It is the same group, but it's not the same. Poking, you're generally going to make somebody mad.
Okay.
Petty, a lot of times, is you unintentionally hurt somebody's feelings, and instead of them talking to you about it, communication, they get butt hurt when they could have just said something.
So a simple. So you would say petty would fall more under a simple miscommunication instead of like an actual real major issue, like where you're poking to make somebody mad or to do something to make somebody mad. You're saying petty is more of a unresolved that could have been handled differently, like an adult with communication. Hey, when you did ABC, it made me feel XYZ kind of a deal. Instead of that kind of communication, it's where the XYZ and the ABC are just letting each other know without letting them know directly without communication. Would you say that that's more Alana Petty?
Yes.
Okay. So then let me ask you this. If that's petty, how would you say would be a good way to eliminate petty? When somebody is being petty, what do you think a mature way to handle that is?
First off, think, is it really something that's worth it? How could I handle this differently with communication? Could I talk to this person? Could I tell them how I feel? or you could just stew on it and keep being petty because you weren't grown enough to discuss it.
Okay. So that is how you can stop yourself from being petty in a situation. I like that. That's something because all of it that we can control ourselves, not anybody else. Bottom line. So I like that. You're saying that you basically STR. You stop, you think, and then you respond, not necessarily react. I'm loving that. So, but then what about a situation where somebody's being petty towards you? Because you can't control them. You can only control you. What do you think a good example of controlling that within yourself and what's happening would be?
I can't control what someone else does or says. However, if they want to not communicate with me and be adult to figure out a resolution to whatever it was that was said or done that made you retaliate in a petty way, per se, that is.
So, what you're basically trying to say is that when somebody else is being petty, it's better to be a little bit more direct towards the situation instead of allowing the pettiness to continue and instead of being petty back. To communicate with that person on an adult level is more and less what you're trying to say with that. Am I right or wrong?
Yes. Because if you don't communicate with the person to stop the petty, then it harvests itself or manifests into hurt feelings and grudges and all these unnecessary negative emotions that are not beneficial to
Unnecessary
anybody's
drama.
health.
Unnecessary drama. Just call it what it is.
Okay.
It's unnecessary drama. We're not going to play. It's all about being truthful with yourself.
I tried to leave the drama word off. People don't like it, but yes,
But that's
it's
what it is.
unnecessary drama.
That's what it is. When you're putting posts out there on Facebook and you're nitpicking at people and undercover, downing people and stuff, that is petty.
Yeah.
And that causes drama. And the bottom line,
If you have a problem with somebody, go to them.
go to them.
Don't
Exactly.
go to all your friends and your friends' friends and your friends' family and etc. before you ever even go to the person. Especially when if you still haven't gone to the person that you have the problem with and you're still manifesting the feelings, it's unnecessary. Communicate.
Communicate. So there you go, guys. Today, our episode is about petty. Our episode was, don't know if everybody understood that or not. I hope y'all did. But basically, what we're saying is in order to stop pettiness, communicate, period. Whether it's with someone else or through yourself, take the time, STR. Don't ever forget how freaking awesome you are. I'll catch you next time on Your Story's Not Over. You're still writing it. Peace out, guys. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you. Peace out.